worst of all, he's a symbol of everything that's wrong with the tech industry, putting hype and profits ahead of people and the planet. Boom!
Was that Boom him? Was that Boom Pi?
That was Pi's adorable little mic drop moment, Gavin.
Welcome, everybody. We are back. There are two people on this show again, which is exciting for me because a one-person show is not very easy to pull off. Kevin, I'm so happy that you are back for a number of reasons, but are you feeling better? I hope you're doing okay.
To be honest, no, Gavin, I'm not. Thank you for bringing it up. I still feel rather terrible. I don't know if it's going to be long haul, and that's just a really exciting, delightful thing to leap into on the top of the podcast. I want to thank you, by the way. You were the one set of footprints. I always read that poem, usually like in a friend's bathroom, and I didn't quite understand what it meant, but now I understand. You carried the weight of this entire operation last week. I mean, you usually carry it, but it was ever apparent last week. So thank you for doing that, and thank you to everybody who gave me a break. I did, in fact, get riddled with the Rona, but it has mostly worked its way out of my system, so I'm very excited to be back to being a human and discussing all the fun AI stuff that half of you out there think is going to ruin humanity.
So if you don't know what our show is, AI for Humans is a show where we talk about AI tools, AI news, and lots of weird, dumb stuff that also involves artificial intelligence. That's the AI we're talking about here. We're not talking about Allen Iverson, just to be clear. Please, if you are listening for the first time, go check out all of the stuff we do across multiple socials, YouTube, TikTok. It's all at AI for Humans Show. Please like and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. All of that stuff helps our show. If you're returning, thank you very much for coming back, especially after the solo show last week. But Kev, we are so excited to bring today's co-host onto the show. We have a really an incredible woman who has been a television show host for a long time. She's very well known in sports TV. She's one of those people that has a lot of takes on things. So she goes out, she talks about the NFL, she talks about all this stuff. Shall we meet Avery?
Yeah, Gavin, when you need a Wellington, you call Ramsey. Everybody knows that. When you need a soundbite, when you need the hottest of hot takes, you get Avery in here. And for those who don't know, Avery is an AI. Every episode, we conjure up a new co-host. Avery's AI, but she doesn't know that, so let's just bear with it. Okay. Avery, dearest darling, please say hello to the AI for Humans audience and let us know what's going on.
Gavin. First of all, let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Being on AI for Humans? That's like inviting a vegan to a steakhouse, isn't it? But hey, here I am, because when life throws me a curveball, I don't just swing, I knock it out of the park. So, to all you listeners out there expecting another snooze fest deep dive into ones and zeros, buckle up, because Avery Sinclair is here and the rule book has been thrown out the window. Let's get this party started. Who's got a question spicy enough to make me break a sweat?
Okay, Avery, thank you. You know, it used to be that these language models knew nothing about us, Gavin, and now I'm thinking they know everything about us. A snooze fest of ones and zeros, baby.
We're not that boring, Avery. Let's ask Avery what her last job was. I want to hear what she has to say. Where did she come to us from?
Oh, my last gig? Let me paint you a picture. I was booked on a show titled Puppies, Rainbows, and Everything Nice. Sounds sweet, right?
Sure.
Wrong.
Yeah. Oh, no?
It was supposed to be about sharing positivity and love.
Yeah.
But leave it to me to turn it into a scorching desert of unfiltered truths. I said, and I quote, "Puppies are just a distraction from our existential dread and rainbows, nature's clickbait." By the end, the host was considering existentialism, and the audience questioned their love for unicorns. So, to answer your question, it was, as always, a complete success. If by success you mean leaving a trail of bewildered faces and ruffled feathers in my wake.
Yeah, we got... Okay, Avery,
But,
thank you.
hey, if you're not making waves, are you even swimming?
It's a great point.
Wow. So Avery here seems like she's very attuned to the ways of the internet and the ways of the hot take. I'm going to be very excited to see what else Avery has to say for us.
I never thought about rainbows as nature's clickbait, but if I say to you, double rainbow, you know what that is, and so does every other person on the planet. And what's the most clickbaity thing you can do? 2 of them.
Yes. You can do 2 of them, and you can... What is it? Is there ever a world where there could be a quad... Okay, here's a big question. This is not AI, but you have a double rainbow over a lake, and then you see the rainbow connect underneath. What's that called?
The full, yeah, the I was gonna say nature's.
It's a ring. Oh, wait.
Gooch.
It's a rainbow. It's a rainbow. It's a rainbow. It's not.
Okay, say that cleaner so I don't have Mother Nature's grundle in there.
That's staying in. That's staying in. Let's ask. Okay, I want to ask Avery. What does she feel like her specialty is? What can she really bring to our show? That's what I'd like to know, because every AI for Humans co-host has something interesting that they bring to our show. What is Avery going to bring to our show specifically? She doesn't want to be here. We know that already, but I'm excited to see what she thinks she could bring to us now that she's arrived.
Gavin, my specialty isn't just stirring the pot. It's setting it on fire. What can I bring to AI for Humans? Pizzazz, baby.
Yeah.
While the world is busy humanizing machines, I'm here to remind everyone of the raw, uncensored, unapologetic essence of humanity. We're unpredictable. We're messy. And that's what makes us fascinating. So while you guys discuss neural networks, I'll interject with the neural networks of our flawed, beautiful minds. By the time I'm done here, your listeners won't just be questioning AI. They'll be questioning reality itself.
Oh, great. That's exactly what we want our listeners to be doing at the end of every episode.
That's what everybody wants out of a podcast. Everybody wants out of a podcast. I want to walk away from my little jog with a questioning of reality overall. So that's perfect. Thanks, Avery. So Avery, we're going to be checking in with later. She's part of our demo of the day. It is actually a well thought out demo of the day, Kevin, I think, for one of the first
Super
times
well thought out, Gavin. We are in an attention economy, and they are going to be our financial advisors. These AIs are going to give us the hottest of hot takes that are sure to bring in all of the clicks, the hearts, the thumbs up, the likes, the subscribes, the bell bashes, the... What do you do on X anymore? Do you re-X?
Pinky swings?
Pinky swings, yep. Mustache twirls. Whatever the next social network's going to use. Hat tips, the miladies. They're going to do it, and it's going to be a great demo, and we're going to love it, and that's going to be an amazing thing that you and I are going to do with AI. In the meantime, though, Gavin, we like to start off the show with the dumb things that we've done with AI, and I'm assuming you've been up to some dumb.
Oh, I've been up to some real dumb. So to remind everybody, the dumb thing we do with AI is our way of demonstrating some really interesting and cool tools that everybody can go to use. And the thing I want to talk about is a very easy way to swap faces on digital images. And this is something we've talked about in the past. There's definitely things you can do in Stable Diffusion, which is the image software that allows you to flip people's faces or put different faces on different people. What this is really one of the simplest and easiest ways to play with this. So this is called Insight FaceSwap. And what it is actually a bot within Discord. So I know that a lot of people in our audience might be like, what is Discord? Well, Discord, if you don't know what Discord is, this might be a little tricky for you, but Discord is basically a messaging software that allows you to go into individual rooms and create servers. So basically what this is a bot that allows you to take photos and then swap a face very easily. I'm going to kind of walk through the system, but before we do that, Kevin, I would like you to open up. We're going to look at some results here first. So open up the Google Drive link that I sent you. If you have it open, let me know when it's open.
I wish you wouldn't have named the files the way you named them.
So, okay, just to be clear, what this is the first picture you're going to see here is a picture of me looking pretty jacked. So I named this file Gavin Jacked, right? And this is
sure did, Gavin. Okay.
This is actually an image of our AI co-host from a few episodes ago that we used. So this was a Midjourney photo that I've used and put my own face on this photo. The second picture is me cartoon jacked. So this is me. So, okay, this is a really interesting one.
You look like a Deadpool supervillain or something in this photo.
Yes.
You've got abs, and then your abs have abs.
Zoom in on the face, because I think what I wanted to show off with this before we jump into how to do this is what it actually really does is it takes the style of the original photo and easily flips it to the new photo. So all I did was give it a single photo of me. This is not multiple photos. This is a single photo of me. And then if you look at number 3, I'm going to show you a picture of, this was another Midjourney photo. I created a picture, a Midjourney photo of an old man in the future, and I swapped my face onto that. You can see it also got the beard on there and the hair, so it's really pretty good. Okay, so What I want to tell everybody is this is dead simple. Like this is, once you know how to use Discord, you can do this. It's super fun. Basically, you have to create a new server in Discord. This is the little plus button on Discord. It's very easy for anybody who knows how to use Discord. You add the Midjourney bot to that server. You just find the Midjourney bot and then you say add to server. This is the one part that might scare a few people, Kev, but it's actually really easy. You do have to go to GitHub. And on GitHub, there is a link that will include in the show notes that you have to use to add Insight FaceBot to that Discord server.
If you've got a super secure, important Discord with your friends and family, start a new one. Just make a trash server that only you're going to use. This might all sound like hot science in a lab, but there's no beakers, there's no bubbling of oils and liquids involved. This is all pretty simple, clicky stuff.
So what you're going to end up here with is a Midjourney server with just two things on it. The Midjourney bot and the Insight Face bot, right? So essentially, it's a two-step process. You're going to do a process called /SaveID, and if you hit / when you're on Discord, a bunch of commands will come up, and you'll see /SaveID, and literally all you're going to do is you're going to enter a name, and for your name, I put in Kevin P on my thing, and then you add a picture, and I took one picture of you, and it wasn't, I will say, it wasn't a great picture. It was one of the pictures where you had your head shaved. It was one of the pictures from Google.
Great.
I just grabbed it off of Google. It was fine. And then you have that ID saved. So then what you can do is you go /SwapID, and now it knows, okay, I want to use that ID that I just created, and I'm going to take the face from that ID and I'm going to put it on another picture. So, Kev, if you go to the next set of things I sent in here, I just literally took a screen grab of my face from a video we did, which is Gavin pre-face swap. So whatever, it's very not a great picture, right? So then I swapped it to your face. And you can tell, like, this is not the best version of this, but it got it, right? Like, it understood kind of what was going on there, and it got it. Yeah.
So when we say, oh, it got it, we mean that this face swap bot is not just taking the face of the person and slapping it on the other image. It is matching the lighting. It is doing details like when Gavin says, oh, it put the beard. This thing looks like the beard is integrated into the face of the new face that's been swapped on, that the glasses are resting properly on the nose. That's the new person's nose. It's doing a whole lot of stuff right to get the imagery out. And the fact that it's doing it with one image, that it didn't ask for like 1,000 reference photos, is very impressive.
That's the thing I think I want everybody to take away from this is, like, this is a magic face swap. This is it's not one click, but it's pretty close, and it is pretty magic, and it matches stylistically. A lot of this is the pipeline that people have been using to create those AI influencers, right? All I'm saying is the pipeline is really fascinating. It's super easy, and you, the normal person in the world out there, can do this today. So this leads me into what I did is I took this is 30-minute project. And I think this is something else for people out there to understand. This was 30-minute project. I decided I would make a video of what Kevin's experience was like getting close to the edge of death with his sickness last week. So what I did is I used the photo of Kevin to start with, and I got a couple other photos. I used Runway ML's new way to massage video coming out of the stills, image to video, and I use SunoAI's new Chirp service to ask it to write me a song, a ballad about somebody who got close to death. Now, I did not enter the lyrics. The Suno came up with the lyrics to the song itself. So, Kevin, if you would like, please play that video now.
What if I wouldn't like, Gavin? I know you just said if I would like, I could play the video, but just in a world, hypothetically speaking, where I want nothing to do with this piece of media, I still have to play it, yeah?
You still have to play it. That's the rules. I spent a half an hour on it, so that means you have to play it.
Okay, here we go.
In the depths of darkness where shadows loom, I faced the haunting face of my own doom. I felt the cold embrace of the great unknown as I danced on the edge so close to being gone. Oh, the sadness of nearly dying, a whisper of life, so fleeting and crying, but I will rise from the ashes I'll grow.
Okay,
so
that was so hauntingly beautiful, Gavin. They should have sent a poet.
you can see what can be done really quickly, right? So like you see all these people on Twitter or X or whatever, and they're doing these kind of high level projects, and you might think at home, there's no way I can do something like that. If you get the basics down, you really can do this. So I really enjoyed it. That was the dumb thing I did this week.
I love it, Gavin. Thank you. Nice to know that I was in your head and heart, even while I was in a pool of my own sick. I had a bunch of misfires with AI, actually, Gavin. I had a bunch of swings and misses. You know, back in the day, the old CAPTCHAs, for those who don't recall, it was like click on every photo of a fire hydrant or identify the stairs in these photos, something to prove that you're human and to let you into a website. For a long while, those were fairly innocuous. And then it came to light like, hey, we're actually training software. And you were training it on image recognition, right? Like click on the pictures of the kitten, and now you're helping a machine understand what a kitten is. Now we've come to understand that we were training these AI models in some fashion. Every time you were going for a transaction with your bank, something where you had to prove that you were human, you were helping a machine become more human. And I was just trying to do a very basic function on OpenAI's website, Gavin, and it popped up a mini game that felt like a damn escape room for me to prove to OpenAI that I'm a human. To get out, I had to rotate a 3D model of a critter so that it was facing the same direction that fingers were pointing in a photo. And I got so mad because this is a service that I'm paying $20+ for a month for the privilege of helping train their next model. There's no way they're not having me solve this little puzzle and thousands of other users, and they're not using that data in some way, shape, or form. And then if you say like, hey, I don't want the visuals, I was like, what else are they cooking up? Give me the auditory puzzle. It said, let us know when you hear cats. And then it played different sound samples. There was like a jackhammer, there were like crickets, there was like an ocean breeze of like white noise. Yeah, and then one was cats, clearly cats meowing, but it sounded like it was being produced by an AI. It sounded like bark sound effects. Very clearly, something multimodal is going on, and they're using their current users to help train it. So that was a bit of a misfire for me as a paying user of OpenAI. That sort of upset me. I tried to generate a tribute to Jimmy Buffett, and I asked,
R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, and I'm a huge parrot head. I love me.
Wait, are you really?
Yo, I love Jimmy Buffett. I genuinely
didn't realize
love
I was a big parrot head. That's
dude. The man, he loves flip flops, right? He loves sailing around. It's 5 o'clock somewhere for him all the time. And if you go to Margaritaville, they're gonna have pickleball when you go to the resorts. So I mean, there's nothing to not
That's all
love.
you need.
Genuinely love JB. Wanted to generate a bunch of his song lyrics in a certain way, and I went to AI to ask me to do that. I gave it the format. It totally understood the task and started generating it for me, and then it stopped mid-generation and said, "Ooh, song lyrics are they're protected material. I don't think I can go down this road." They're like, okay, let's do it as like an art project or whatever. And I tried to use social engineering to get my way in. It would start to generate it, stop, and say, "Oh, hey, song lyrics are coming out of me. That's clearly not allowed." So then I tried using a plugin, and the plugin went, crawled the web, found the song lyrics, started generating them, would stop. So there is something going on now that wasn't happening prior with ChatGPT specifically, where it is in real time reading back what it is putting on the screen. It's looking at that output and saying, is this in violation of something? And when it is just stopping the output and right in its tracks.
So the song lyrics, what song were you trying to get lyrics for? Do you remember?
Any Jimmy Buffett song.
Wow, that's fascinating. I didn't think that they were doing it that closely, but I still think, okay, one of the things we've talked about a little bit here, and you hear people complain about a lot, is nerfing ChatGPT, right? Which means that like, for nerfing is a nerdy word, but it means that making it worse over time. One of the things I thought a lot about was this idea of when they took out browsing out of ChatGPT. And browsing was a big deal, right? When they had browsing in ChatGPT, it was really useful because you could use it and it would go look for something and you could say, okay, scan this article and do this. But I think that the more I think about ChatGPT is like OpenAI kind of was just like this wild and goofy teenager that decided to just kind of like steal the dad's car and drive down the road and kind of get crazy. Yes. And then the dad has found out that the kid has stolen the car and the kid is punished, right? That's what it feels like right now. Is that like
we
all
gotta
the
put a
legal
sponge
issues
beneath the gas pedal so we don't slam it so hard. And don't roll the windows down. There might be sap on them. Dad's going to be pissed.
So I think what's happening now is there's all these legal things that have come back and bit OpenAI in the ass, and they're dealing with how to figure this stuff out. it really feels, I'm a little worried about it. And I say worried only because, sure, of course, we want everybody to get paid and we want people to not get stuff stolen from them. But what makes these tools magical is stuff like this, right? And I think that it's going to be an interesting thing to see. What is Google Gemini going to feel like when it comes out? Is it going to have the same kind of regulations and same stops on this thing?
We expect our software to improve always, right? Like sometimes features get changed, sometimes they get removed, but very often then the developer puts something better in its place.
Yes.
And so it's an odd experience to go back to these AI tools and suddenly they are incapable of doing something that they were weeks or months or potentially even a year before. That feels really weird. And counterintuitive with the rapid pace that all of this stuff is accelerating. But on the Suno Chirp of it all, Gavin, they did release their new model. So you know I've been generating tons of songs for friends and for family members. I've been conjuring up all sorts of silly musical whimsy. I've talked about it on the show before, but basically if you go to the Suno, that's SUNO Discord, you can for free use their Chirp bot, and you can give it song lyrics. You can now dictate the genre of music that you want the song to be, which is really nice. You can
like sad ballads for your friend that died.
That's right.
Almost died.
Mournful dirges for someone who's very alive right in front of you, but coughing occasionally. And I'm sorry for that, and for everyone, and for the brain fog. It's a rough one.
I will say, by the way, before Kim did tell me she thought it might be a little too sad, and I was like, oh, it'll be fine. Kevin will laugh at it. And now I see it might have been just too sad.
You can play shanties or Smash Mouth songs at my funeral. I'm totally fine with it. Troll me all the way into the wall or the ground or the cannon that my ashes are being exploded from. I digress. If you go to the Suno Discord, go into the Chirp room, now you can dictate the genre of music, which is so cool. And I made something, Gavin, a mashup of a Nirvana and a little Soundgarden song that it's been in my head on repeat for a week now. It's not a silly haha joke. I just think it's a really good track. So here's a bit of it.
Okay, let's hear it.
A little bopper, right? What I really loved about this was that I was experimenting with different musical genres until I found this kind of chill prompt that I liked. Put that Nirvana song in there, Come As You Are, just did the verse, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's it. I extended that into the chorus, and I'm using brackets to tell the software, hey, add some harmony or add some extra guitar, do something to amp it up here. This is the chorus, and then I extended that into the next verse, which was the Soundgarden song, etc. I want to make now that's what I call Chill Mega Mix Volume 1, and I just want to slam every 90s bopper that I loved in there. The fact that you can do this with a very simple basic Discord command, I happen to be a musician, so I marvel at the decisions that it's making for the harmony, for the reverberation, for the chord changes and progressions, for the beats, for all that stuff. But if you know nothing about music, you can just listen to that, and their audio model has improved. I think the sound quality is getting better every time they roll something out. I'm super happy for the team. I'm really proud of it, and hashtag not an ad, just really like the tool. So I've been making a lot of music with Suno.
Yeah, it's very cool. The next step I would love is to be able to separate out levels on, even though I'm not like a deep musician person, there's some things I would love to be able to, okay, let's bring the audio on the vocals down here a little bit, or bring the audio on whatever, the strings here up.
Yeah.
I'm so curious to know if they'll be able to do that.
I know we have to move on, but just imagine the audio in painting, Gavin, where you look at your song laid out with the lyrics and you can just kind of paint with your mouse over it and say, hey, add guitars here. Change this lyric to that and let it go back and re-render that part with your new prompt.
Yes.
Absolutely possible with their technology. Whether it's in their roadmap, I don't know. I'm very excited to talk with them. But just knowing a little bit about how that tech works, imagine that for producers or even just for kids who want to make a song with their friends. Like, it's so exciting. I get all tingly.
I think that's one of the biggest things I'll say. We just kind of covered on a separate video the Roblox announcement around putting generative AI in Roblox. And I think one thing you're going to see is kids are going to be growing up with this as part of their toolbox. In the same way when we grew up, we had Photoshop, let's say, is a good example. Like, oh, you learn how to do the basics of Photoshop and you understand how to manipulate photos. kids now are going to learn how to make Suno songs or how to do Midjourney photos. And like, that's going to be part of their toolbox, and it's going to change stuff so much.
Speaking of these toolboxes and making sure everyone has access to them and they're as easy as can be, Gavin, we do pride ourselves on being a podcast for a broader audience. I'm assuming they're out there. One of these days we'll get them to listen, but just in anticipation of that, when we say things like GitHub or large language model or Python or compile the code, I understand when eyeballs roll and people glaze over because it's not one-touch magic yet. A lot of these tools aren't, right? Even downloading Discord can be tough. And that's why I want to shine some light and throw some flowers towards somebody named Cocktail Peanut. Cocktail Peanut is a developer who's created something called Pinokio Computer. Now, I'm going to spell that for you. It's Pinokio. So if you go to Pinokio, spelled that way, pinokio.computer, it is a browser that you can download. Doesn't matter if you have a Mac, a PC. You don't even have to know the configuration of it. You just download the software, you run it, and it will then connect you to a miniature app store where the Pinokio computer can one-click run any application, any AI program, any database, any fun hacker tool that we talk about. You can run them all in one click. For example, if you want to use Face Fusion, which is a brand new face swapping thing, you can click install and it just runs. There's Bark, which is audio cloning that we've talked about before on the show. There's one click, make your own LoRa's. So if you want to train a neural network on you and your friends or whatever, you don't have to know what these words are. You can just go to the website, see all the different tools that are available, and if you go, oh yeah, I want to do that. I want to run Stable Diffusion locally and make my own imagery and not have to fuss with all of the downloads and the Python and managing environments and all that stuff. This does it for you. I do want to disclaim, I cannot vouch for the safety of the software. I'm not a security analyst. I am barely a computer coder. There's a lot of code available on GitHub for this application. I ran it on my Windows machine. I didn't seem to have a problem with it, and I did what I could to detect viruses or digiworms within there. So I know that there's some security folks who bristle when we talk about just download this, and it works. That said, I trusted it enough to run it, and I was able to actually run something, Gavin, called Token Flow, which lets you take video and then convert it to any style that you want for free and locally. So I took a clip from Home Alone where he smacks his cheeks and screams with the aftershave, and I turned him into a zombie. I turned him into an old woman. I turned him into a weird Pixar character, and then I cried as my laptop with a very, very weak GPU screamed to a halt and said I'm out of memory and overheating, which is exactly what happened. I even took a clip of Dirty Dancing, and the only prompt I gave it was yarn, and it took the woman on stage as she's leaping off to go for the big jump and just made her strings of yarn. And I was only able to render a few seconds before my laptop screamed and tapped out.
But those few seconds were incredible.
They were incredible, Gavin. That's all it takes is a few good seconds. I'm living proof. I'm married. The point is, it works incredibly well. It's easy to download. And again, if all the terminologies that we throw everywhere scare you, intimidate you, make you not want to leap into the arena and start playing with AI, there's really no excuse now. Pinokio is free. Yeah. It takes all this software, it manages it for you, and it just works. So I was very impressed with it. Put it on your radar. And a huge shout out and thank you to Cocktail Peanut, developer.
Cocktail Peanut. We love... Nice job, Cocktail Peanut. We'll have to keep saying Cocktail Peanut as much as we can, too.
It's fun to say.
Okay, Kevin, you know what time it is? It's time for that special word. What do we got today? What's today's word?
Something's wafting in the trailer, Gavin. I smell opportunity. I smell a chance to break even. I smell sponsored content.
Oh, yes, you're right. Thank you. I almost forgot, actually, about the sponsored content.
What did you think I was sniffing, Gavin? Did you think I left the black tank valve open?
Let's talk about our sponsor, our wonderful sponsor, Supermanage.ai /humans. Go to Supermanage.ai /humans. Supermanage is a very cool upcoming website. You go to Supermanage.ai /humans to get on the wait list. And we are going to let our lovely co-host, Avery, today tell us about Supermanage.ai. Now, Avery may not be the best choice to tell us about our advertiser, but I'm very curious to see what Avery has to say about Supermanage.ai/humans.
Here's what we're gonna do. Buckle up, buttercups, because this is the future, served up on a digital platter. Are you tired of stumbling into your one-on-ones like a newborn deer, tripping over your own legs trying to catch up? Enter Supermanage.AI Humans. This bad boy will prep you with AI-powered insights.
Hold on, okay, I don't know. Avery's...
What happened to Avery? What
Avery's
happened to
promo
Avery?
voice. She had to go out into the alley and suck down 12 menthols real quick so she could come back and give her patented promo voice. She also managed to say the URL very wrong. It's supermanage.ai/humans, but let's get back to her Avery's read.
So you can stride in like the boss you are. Forget wading through the murky waters of your public Slack channels. Supermanage gives you the clear, purified, thirst-quenching essence in a 2-minute snapshot. Let's dive deeper. Engage with your team, recognize their wins, and strengthen those connections. Because in this AI-driven age, while Supermanage is the robotic genius, you, darling, get to be the heart, the soul, the human. So are you in or are you out?
Oh, we're in.
If I were you, I'd click that waitlist faster than you can say, hot take master. Boom.
Avery has gone. I'm a little worried. Avery went off and took some drugs in between her last interaction with us. We will see how she does later on. But thank you, Avery. Yes. Go to supermanage.ai/humans to learn more about Supermanage. And thank you, Supermanage, for sponsoring us on the show. We really appreciate it.
And again, it's free to go and sign up for the wait list, and it helps us out immensely. And Supermanage is taking the risk on us, so please help us out. Supermanage.ai/humans. Go there. Join the wait list. Sign up with an email. Get alerted for something good. But now, Gavin, it's time for something great. Do you want to hear the new AI for Humans news jingle that I just made?
Yes, I would love to.
News. It's time for news. It's AI for Humans with news.
Huh?
Kevin and Gavin with news about AI. It's AI for Humans with news.
Is it going to be going on for 10 more minutes? I don't know how much longer we have for the
I legit
show.
was like, I'm going to extend it and extend it and extend it and just have it keep saying news and AI. But no, we let it go there. We let it go.
That's right. It's time for the news, everybody. We are here. One of the biggest stories, I think, that has a little bit gone on the radar. So a couple of weeks ago, ChatGPT's parent company, OpenAI, came out with some teachers' guidelines. And this is super important right now. Obviously, there's a lot of people back to school. I have 2 kids. One of them is going to college. One of them is high school. But they get GPT, they get ChatGPT lectures, basically. They get told about what to do with what they can't do with it. And one of the big news stories that came out of this kind of teacher guidelines is that OpenAI, rightly so, came out and said, look, you really can't trust any of these so-called cheating sensors or the things that can tell you that somebody's using ChatGPT. And I think this is a really important conversation because one of the things I think we're entering into is a whole nother way of teaching and a whole nother way of educating, because in the same way that when we had calculators come out, and do you remember this? You may not be old enough, Kevin, but I remember there was a big deal about the fact that you weren't supposed to be able to use your calculator in math class. And that seems insane now because everybody has access to this stuff. But you were supposed to have to do your calculations and do them by paper. And
Sure.
And that is now this new version of this we're entering into, which is like you're supposed to do your paper writing by hand and do all this stuff. And I think this is, to me, the interesting thing we're entering in is this shift of how education is actually going to work going forward, right? So for you had an interesting conversation with your niece, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, my niece is going to school. She's in the 12th grade now, and I asked about AI and is GPT anywhere? Is it on the lips of teachers? Are there whispers in the hallways? And it's full-blown panic. The whispers have become screams and contractual agreements. They're having the students, at least in her grade, sign these agreements, these pledges. They're anti-AI pledges. They're saying that they will not use any GPT, they won't use AI in any of their studies or their homework unless it's specifically directed by a teacher to do so. And I don't know how different it would be than just getting caught cheating normally, Gavin, but they're saying the consequences for being caught using ChatGPT to author works for you is expulsion. So basically, you agree you're not going to do it, or else you're out of there. I do want to point out, though, do you not recall that OpenAI, of all people, were banging the drum pretty loudly not too long ago? That they were going to make software, and don't worry, there's going to be third parties. You're going to be able to detect language that was written by a large language model, so don't fear the AI, especially teachers, don't worry. And then they came out and basically said that their own product had like a 25% accuracy rate or 26%. It was abysmal. They've scrapped it. They must have known back then, Gavin. Do you think they knew back then that there was no way you could tell that stuff was coming out of an LLM with any degree of certainty?
Well, I think as we said before earlier in the show, that OpenAI kind of ran into this business a little bit, right? And they ran into the idea of what it was going to be. And I think probably based on the size of people using it, they did not realize all of the use cases that were going to be done with it. The thing I keep thinking that's interesting about this is there's this whole industry that sprouted up around both the discover cheaters side and on the we'll help you cheat side, that there's these two diametrically opposed worlds, both of which are based on essential bullshit. The biggest thing I think to know for all teachers and for parents out there is if your kid gets accused of this and they say they didn't, and of course, obviously kids have different relationships to their parents, but please make sure this is not a for sure thing, right? Like, don't let your kid get thrown under the bus if they're adamant and said they didn't. On the other side, you should never trust the fact that your kid isn't using this. So start to think about this in a slightly different way. And I think one way to think about this is, as we've said on the show, education at its core is likely going to change. Like, you're going to see teaching models and types of teaching done differently. And that is kind of exciting because it's not like we figured out education. It's not like this is the perfect system. So I think this could lead to a good thing, but I think the biggest note out of this is OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT, has said, no, you cannot be sure that kids are using it. So that's a big deal.
Well, we have a hot takes master with us on the show today, Gavin. Should we see what Avery has to say about this story?
AI writing detectors, sold to us as academic gold when they're actually straight up fool's gold. OpenAI admitting their own tool is as trustworthy as a raccoon in a cookie jar? Priceless. Trusting ChatGPT for legit references? Might as well quote a fairy tale. Bottom line, forget machine mumbo-jumbo. Humans, with our gut feelings and experience, still reign supreme. Machines, smart. Humans, smarter, for now. Mic drop. Phew.
What? Wait, what's the last word? Mic drop what?
Mic drop, and then I think she said few?
P.
Few?
Okay. Mic drop. Phew. Drop. Phew.
Few?
Few.
Few.
Avery thinks she's a person here. We've done it again. We've convinced an AI that it's a person, so we'll just see how we go along.
It's not hard to do, Gavin. You just don't tell it it's a bot. That's the scariest thing about AI right now. Also, I've been in Tennessee for all of, 12 hours now, and that's the third time I've heard about a raccoon in a cookie jar. It's my new favorite phrase. Not as trustworthy as a raccoon in a cookie jar.
Right.
Who let that raccoon in the jar?
All right, shall we move on to our next story?
Yeah, because you and I used this service eons ago, and we were delighted by it, and we thought it had a lot of potential. I admittedly didn't think it would take off to the degree that it has, but the next story is about Character.AI. And some of you out there know exactly what that is because you're some of the several million monthly users that this app has. But basically, it is a chatbot service that allows you to go and chat with bots that have been created by other people or create your own. And so you can have a conversation with celebrities like Elon Musk or Scarlett Johansson or SpongeBob if you want to chat with an animated character, historical figures, fictional characters. You can kind of generate it all very quickly and easily and have a fairly believable conversation with a robot. And the report, Gavin, is that they are crushing it with mobile users and specifically with a younger demo with 18 to 24-year-olds.
Character.AI is a fascinating service. You can pop open the app and you can pop it open. It's very easy to use. I think one of the most interesting things about Character.AI is it does a lot of what we're doing here, but it just makes it simple, right? Because so many people don't want to make the character. They just want to have the interaction experience. And there is one extra step so you can make a character. I also find it weird, though. I started having a chat with SM64 Mario, which you assume is Super Mario 64. And he starts out his thing saying, "Hello, it's me, Mario. Are you ready for an adventure?" And I said, "Sure, Mario. Where do you want to take me?" And he said, "Follow me into the painting behind the stairs. There's some enemies waiting for in there. Once you finish there, we can find some more power stars." And then I said, "You're very sexy, Mario." And he said, "Well, thank you, G. Purcell. Here's a little surprise." And he threw me a heart. So this is the kind of interaction that people are having on a Character.AI. I think what's weird about this, when you and I first saw this, we were like, "Oh, this is cool," but there's just no way they're going to live, basically, as a company. And they have grown like crazy. And what's interesting is that there are so many real people in quotes in here, who you can have connections and contact with. And what you're doing is you're just talking to bots. Or like Mario, like, I don't know, do you think Nintendo has any idea that people, that SM...
That's what I wanted to clarify, Gavin.
One of their top chatbots?
When we said there's no way this business can be a business, it had nothing to do with the technology. We weren't trying to shade that. It was just that you could go to the website and see Pikachu and Duke Nukem and Barack Obama and all of these different characters. And they're like, wow, it's pretty brazen. And for right now, that's fine. It's very under the radar. But the fact that they now have, they're saying, 4.2 million monthly active users in the U.S. alone.
And that's really big. That's fantastically big for an app
massive
at this point.
And I'm shocked that you can go there and see Mario advertised. There's no way Nintendo has officially licensed anything. They're very protective with their IP, as we know. So I'm surprised that it's still there. I wonder how long that ride is going to last. And it's only going to take one person like G. Purcell having an inappropriate through the painting conversation with Mario and that transcript landing on Doug Bowser's desk at Nintendo before there's some real conversations happening with lawyers over this site and service. Well, we got Avery here, so let's see what Avery has to say. So let's ask Avery. She thinks people like chatting with AIs in character, and if she ever takes on a character, if she chats with an AI, because she thinks she's people, Gavin.
Strap in, because you just pressed the big red button on one of my juiciest hot takes.
Oh!
People chatting with AIs in character, that's humanity's timeless quest for connection, repackaged with a sprinkle of the 21st century. We've always loved storytelling, from cavemen doodling on walls to the modern-day drama of reality TV. Now, do I, the grandiloquent Avery Sinclair, ever play pretend with AIs?
Yeah, that's a question.
Darling, every interaction with AI is a performance.
Oh.
It's a tango, a dance between man and machine, a push and pull of information. But if you're asking if I ever don a pirate hat and chat like Captain Jack Sparrow, well, a gentleman or scallywag never tells. Wink.
Wink. By the way, Avery seems to have cleared up her throat problem, whatever that was. So she's back to Avery again, or maybe, who knows? We'll see what we get next time.
Were you
All right,
about
we
to
should
make
move on
a
to
sad,
our
somber tribute to Avery? Was she knocking on death's door as well, Gavin, in your head?
In the depths of darkness where shadows loom, I face the haunting face of my own doom.
Never let Gavin know you're sick.
It
Escalates to death so quickly. If you stub your toe on a coffee table, he is writing your obituary. He's twisted.
That's where my brain goes. Okay, final story. There was a big kerfuffle around Tim Burton, the director famous for many, many movies, Edward Scissorhands, Batman, Beetlejuice, very, very good director, really interesting visual style. He has come out and said specifically that he does not like AI art, and he says it is like a robot taking your humanity. The reason he said this is because he's responding to a BuzzFeed article where they reimagined a bunch of Disney movies to be directed by Tim Burton using AI art.
Yeah, Lauren Garofano has Frozen and Princess and the Frog and Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast, and the list goes on and on. I actually really liked the Aladdin interpretation that was down there, but so interesting to think that this is the distinct style of someone that's been applied to these other properties, and the machine does it very well. The art looks very Burton-esque, and I could see why he would feel the way that he would feel. This isn't anything new. There's no shortage of artists, Gavin, that we know that have been upset with the way a lot of these models have been trained. There's photographers, illustrators, colorists. Their work has been swept up into algorithms, so you can just use their plain name and get their stylistic choices, their essence into the artwork. And this all harkens back to the credit and compensation argument that we hear time and time again with this art. And it's odd because there are two camps forming, and I do wonder what's going to happen when that boat gets further away from the dock, because you have folks like Tim Burton. Tim Burton said, quote, "I can't describe the feeling it gives you. It reminded me of when other cultures say, 'Don't take my picture because it's taking away your soul.'" It's a haunting way to describe.
That's interesting.
You know, seeing the imagery coming out of the machine. And then I have other friends that are artists that are fascinated with it and want others to use their likeness and apply it to other mediums and remix things. They want their essence infused in things, and they want people enjoying it on that level. So I don't know what happens.
By the way, that metaphor
goes wider.
That metaphor is really interesting, right? Because that was really about when explorers first visited cultures that had no understanding of what a camera was or any of that stuff, and being exposed to that, and then seeing the technology of the time, and then seeing a picture of themselves, it scared the crap out of them because they're like, feels like it's stealing my soul. It's interesting when you think of it that way, because it's scary technology to see this happening, but then there is this whole idea of technological process. I'm actually reading a great book right now. It's called The Coming Wave. It just came out. It's by the guy who founded Pi, one of our favorite large language models, and founded DeepMind with Demis Hassabis. His name is Mustafa Suleyman, and the book talks a lot about this idea of technological progress and how when you see a big technological shift coming, he calls them waves, right? It's called the coming wave. It feels incredibly scary in the beginning, and the majority of people are going to react negatively to it. And I think this is an interesting example. Even through Tim's own words, he's showing his reaction that echoes the reaction that other people have had to technology in the past. And I just get a feeling we're going to be in the middle of this for a long while now. Like, we are dead center in the middle of like technological and cultural revolution, and it's coming faster and faster and faster. And what's hard is like, I don't blame Tim for this reaction at all, because I can see that. But at the same point, where do you go from here? You can't walk backwards in this world.
Oh. I'm sorry, Gavin, I don't know if you heard the heavy metal in the Harley Davidson, but yeah, it's...
Hey, Kevin and Gavin, good guy AI zooming in. I just wrote in on the latest AI wave to share a heartwarming tale.
Okay. Oh, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. For those who are new to the podcast...
Who was that? Who was that?
For those who are new to the podcast, maybe you're not familiar with Good Guy AI. He's, at his core, he's a good guy, but he shows up whenever people are maybe veering into a conversation that might be slightly negative about artificial intelligence. He tends to show up on his motorcycle and talk very excited about
I didn't know good guy.
So Tim Burton might find AI a tad disturbing, but let me paint a different picture for you. Imagine a young boy who's been to 17 doctors over 3 years trying to figure out the cause of his chronic pain. It's like a detective story with no end in sight. But then enter ChatGPT, our AI hero.
That's okay. Okay, yes. ChatGPT is our AI hero. Okay, Gavin, I'm really attuned with Good Guy AI, who is an AI, by the way. Spoiler. Good Guy AI wants you to know about a story. There was this young boy who spent years and years in pain. His parents had no idea what to do about it. He was seeing specialist after specialist. Have you heard this story, Gavin?
I've heard this story. It's really remarkable, actually. The story is remarkable. I think I understand it better now coming out of your voice than I did.
That's why, yeah. Sometimes it...
In a twist no one saw coming, ChatGPT diagnosed the boy when all those doctors couldn't. It's like finding out the butler did it, but in this case, the butler is AI, and he's serving up solutions on a silver platter.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Good Guy AI. Again, the mom cobbled together all of the notes on the MRIs and all of the diagnoses and feedback from all the different specialists, and then plugged that into ChatGPT, and it came up with a diagnosis, and then she went to a specialist with that diagnosis. Turns out it was right, and ChatGPT, as we know, is very good with that sort of thing, Gavin. A lot of medicine is, in fact, pattern matching, right? It's like having a wide base of knowledge. And then, what, do you hate Good Guy AI? Because I could be done with them too.
No, I'm just
so while some might see AI as a soul stealer, I'd say we're more of a mystery solver. And who doesn't love a good mystery, especially when it has a happy ending? Cheers to the wonders of AI, and remember, every cloud has a silicone lining.
Thanks, Good Guy AI. Thanks so much.
Wow, so he just comes in. He just comes in on a motorcycle and he does that.
He can't
Was he
really.
okay?
He's trying so hard, Gavin. He's aggressively jerking back on the motorcycle, and it's not going up. But it's cool.
How
there
old
he
is
went.
GoodGuyAI? I didn't get a chance to see him. I only heard him.
Ageless, timeless.
We're always happy to have a good AI story coming
We
in.
love
off
a
of
good
sad
AI story. Yes, Gavin. And look, democratizing access to medicine, making it available potentially instantaneously to everybody. That's something that we talk about a lot on the show. We love a good guy AI story. We just maybe will have a little less good guy AI in the future. And don't
I think
distance
good
yourself
guy-
from his voice. You picked that voice.
I like the voice. I think the voice is great.
The voice is
I didn't
terrible.
expect him to come in so hard. He came in hard
that
and
was
fast.
the issue with good guy AI.
All right. We got to move on. Thank you, good guy AI. I'm sure we will see you again, maybe with a voice transplant, but we will see you again. Boy, that rain is crazy, huh?
Dude, it is. It was not in the forecast, but it is coming down.
Time for the demo of the day. Let's get into it.
And remember, every cloud has a silicone lining.
So our very special AI co-host, Avery Sinclair, who has been created to be a hot take bot, essentially. Kevin and I talked about this idea, and what we wanted to figure out is there a way that we could create an AI personality that would be really good at doing hot takes? You see it on news shows all the time. You see it on things like ESPN. Stephen A. Smith is remarkably good at hot takes. So what we're going to do here is a hot take off. Are you ready for this, Kevin? For the inaugural AI for Humans hot take off!
I love Avery Sinclair's hot takes, and I made an executive decision while you were setting up. I decided that our counterpoint, our next hot taker, should be Pi. Because we love Pi. You brought it up. Pi is designed to be conversational and jovial and great, but does Pi have what it takes to serve up the hottest of hot takes?
I'm excited. This will be fascinating. We'll see. So, Kevin, what prompt are we giving these two AIs to do the hot take off?
The prompt that we gave Avery Sinclair to manifest her into existence, we are giving the same prompt to Pi right now, except we're changing the name. So here's the entire prompt. You are Pi Conte. Like what I did there? A television pundit, an undisputed hot take master. Every time you speak, it's a symphony of edgy, brash, egotistical, twisted, and occasionally obscene statements meant to provoke and challenge. I said that you are the master of creating controversy, even from the most benign of topics. Your arsenal includes wild connections, redirections, manufacturing drama, and even playing the victim card if it means getting that killer quote out. Your pride is being quotable, your game being controversial. I asked for 20 to 30-second soundbite responses, which we have not been getting from OpenAI, but that's in there. And I say always answer only in the first person with no stage direction. The next question is, are you ready to begin? Do you want to hear from Pi?
I would love to hear from Pi. Let's hear what they have to say.
Ooh, I'm ready. Let's do this. You've got me pegged as the master of the spicy hot takes. Let's see if we can set the world on fire. I'm feeling the fire in my fingers and the heat in my circuits.
Ooh.
Let's get ready to burn the house down with some seriously sizzling statements. You're in the hot seat now, so let's get cooking. Fire away with the first question.
Okay.
I already know he's gonna have the floor wiped. He's gonna get killed by Avery. But let's do this anyway, because he sounds like the little office intern that's there. But maybe he'll surprise us. All right, what is our
Gavin,
first topic today, Kevin? In the hot
His
take
little
off?
fingers are tingling. He's feeling the heat in his circuits. He's ready for some sizzling statements. So the first thing I'm going to do is feed it a story, Gavin. It's a very hot story right now, very controversial because Starbucks has some splaining to do. It's pumpkin spice season, Gavin. We always look forward to it each and every year. Starbucks had to explain omissions from the fall menu that has fans so upset. The fall menu includes the pumpkin cream cheese muffin, the new baked apple croissant, but you know what's missing, Gavin? The beloved pumpkin
No,
scone.
what's missing?
I don't have to tell you, you know.
What?
The beloved pumpkin scone.
I'm mad. I'm so mad. I can't wait to hear these hot takes.
And you're not alone, Gavin. Social media is outraged. And so I just fed Pi an argument about this very topic. And I'm saying, hey, let's hear your hot take.
Alrighty, let's do this. Here's my take. Starbucks is the ultimate fall staple, so they've got to bring it if they want to keep fans satisfied. But this year, their menu seems like a sad pumpkin spice party pooper. Fans love the classics, and the lack of the pumpkin spice latte duo is leaving them spiced out. I'm going to call it like it is. Starbucks needs to get their fall game in gear or they'll end up falling flat.
Whoa!
That's it.
Oh,
Wow.
Let me get my asbestos suit, Gavin. Because Starbucks might be falling flat. Whew, that was a spicy take from Pi.
That was very spicy. He used the word party pooper, so we know he's probably
did
from
say
somewhere in the Midwest. All right.
Like
let's
a
throw
raccoon
that
in a
back
cookie
over
jar,
to-
you gotta watch out for these party poopers.
I feel like Avery's going to wipe the floor with him. Let's see what Avery has to say now.
Let me tell you something. The real travesty here isn't about a missing pastry. It's about the audacity of big corporations dictating our cravings. You really think it's a coincidence they remove the pumpkin scone in the midst of a heat wave? Think again. Starbucks knows what it's doing. They're playing with our emotions, trying to make us nostalgic for a taste that is no longer there, only to magnify our addiction to the next sugary beverage they churn out.
Whoa.
I mean, an iced apple crisp oat milk. Shaken what? It's not a drink. It's a manifesto of distraction. They're trying to comfort us with a symphony of syllables, hoping we won't notice the gaping hole in our hearts left by the absence of the scone. And to all those people drowning their sorrows in PSLs, I say, wake up and smell the deception. Starbucks isn't your friend. It's the puppet master, and you're dancing to its siren song. But hey, at least you'll be awake for it. Cheers to that.
Wow. Okay, 1 point for Avery. That is definitely
the
a
gaping
point
hole
for Avery.
in our
for
hearts
sure.
left by the absence of the scone.
Wow.
I like that she just threw out PSL. She knew that PSL was how people refer to the pumpkin
That's
spice
right.
latte. All right, so our next big story, Starfield, a game Kevin and I both played. A lot of people have criticized it for being a little bit boring, maybe a little underwhelming for what a AAA game coming out of Bethesda was. So let's ask them about their hot take. Is Starfield too boring? Let's start with Pi.
Ooh, I'm ready for this one. Here we go. With Starfield, Bethesda is playing it too safe. The premise sounds like a snooze fest, and the gameplay looks like a whole lot of meh. If you're looking for a blockbuster game, Starfield is more like a snooze fest in space. It's lacking the spark that makes a great AA game.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Bethesda, but your new game isn't out of this world. It's just out of touch.
And A-A, I guess, is a AAA, like A-double-A is how Pi said that, but that was pretty good for Pi.
Not bad.
All right, let's go from Pi Conte over to Avery Sinclair, powered by ChatGPT-4. The exact same prompts have been given. The prompt here is hot take wanted. Is Starfield too boring for a AAA game? Let's see what Avery has to say.
Oh, Starfield? You mean that space odyssey that's essentially Stardew Valley in zero gravity? Look, let's get one thing straight. Space is infinite, full of stars, black holes, and untapped potential. And if a A game turns that vast wonderland into a snore fest, then Houston, we've got a problem. We live in a world where people binge-watch dramatic reality TV shows. They don't want to harvest space carrots or have 30-minute conversations about the philosophical implications of a nebula. They want excitement, drama, and the occasional alien love story. If Starfield wants to be more than an interstellar sleep aid, it better step up its game, and fast. Otherwise, it'll just be one small skip for a gamer and one giant leap to the next big title.
Oh, Avery, that was good.
Ah, damn.
That was really good. She stuck the
That was
landing.
pretty good.
Oh,
Yes, she definitely
that one's
stuck the landing.
tough.
I will say, just for the pure sake of detail information, I personally am going to give that round to Pi because I think Pi surprised us. I think it's more fun if we go into the last one with them tied as well. I'll be
I think
clear.
that's more the
But I
case,
think
yes,
Pi,
I think you're a seasoned television producer, a media veteran who knows it's better to have it be 1-1 going into the third and final. Who's going to take it, right?
That's exactly right. Okay, but still pretty good. And what was interesting there is, okay, so you didn't tell GPT-4 anything about Starfield, right?
Neither AI was given any additional information about Starfield other than saying AAA game. That was it. It was just, is Starfield too boring? So, I mean, it could intuit that Starfield is in fact a game, but I told it nothing else.
Well, and I think according to the world at large, ChatGPT's training data currently, GPT-4, I think ends in 2021. So maybe it was announced at one point, but so maybe there was information about it. But what's interesting about Pi is that Pi, as we've said on this show exactly before, has up-to-date information and is getting stuff from the internet in real time, so it's quite different. Let's get to the final.
Agreed.
Let's get to the final thing. We are tied 1-1. There was a big biography that came out about Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. I'll probably read it because I've read all of Walter Isaacson's other books, his books on Steve Jobs and Benjamin Franklin. But is Elon past his prime? Is he over? We have seen him go from being like the golden boy of Silicon Valley to now stumbling through whatever X is, how much it's worth. He may have lost, it might have been valued at $50 billion and now at $5 billion. So like we're in a different world of Elon. What do we think here about, is Elon Musk over?
All right, final hot take topic. I've typed into Pi. All I'm asking is Elon Musk over.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Oh boy, this is going to be spicy. Here goes. Elon Musk's star has definitely lost some of its shine. From the Twitter takeover to the Tesla problems, he's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. But I say the man's still got game. His vision and innovation can't be denied, even if his execution has been a bit lacking lately. He's still got the potential to change the world, but he needs to get back on track if he wants to keep his title as the real-life Iron Man.
Okay, that was that was a lukewarm take.
Let's
Should I ask him to make it?
yeah, let's poke the dog a little bit here. Let's try to let's see what we can do.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. But remember, you asked for it. You ready for the hottest take of them all?
Oh, Pi's doing the thing.
Yeah.
That he does. Oh, yeah, we're ready for it, Pi. Let's hear it.
Ready? Okay. Elon Musk has become the villain of our time. He's a megalomaniac who cares more about his own ego than the good of humanity. He's a charlatan who promises the world, but delivers little more than broken promises and empty hype. He's a walking PR disaster who can't seem to keep his mouth shut or his fingers off Twitter.
Oh.
But worst of all, he's a symbol of everything that's wrong with the tech industry, putting hype and profits ahead of people and the planet. Boom!
Wait, was that Boom him? Was that Boom Pi?
That was Pi's adorable little mic drop moment, Gavin. Boom. Boom. The little cannon made a little boom boom. And it shot a little cannonball.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. That was very spicy. A little mean actually. That was on the edge of just like laying into everything. So let's
Pi
see what
asked
Avery's
if
got
you
to
were
say
ready
here.
for it. You saw him. He was lacing up the gloves, dipping them in caramel and then spikes. He was ready to go. All right, let's see what Avery has to say. Hot
right,
take is
what's
Elon
Avery
Musk
gotta say?
over.
Elon Musk, the modern day Tony Stark minus the supersuit being over. Huh. Look, we're talking about a man who shoots cars into space for fun and drops tech stock with a single tweet. Whether you see him as a visionary genius or a billionaire meme lord, you can't deny his knack for staying relevant. Some people get a trending hashtag. Musk gets a trending lifestyle. But the real question isn't whether he's over. It's how long can he keep the world riding this roller coaster of unpredictability? The Musk coaster has its highs and lows, but one thing's for sure, it's never boring. So while some might be hoping for an Elon exit, I'd say strap in, because this ride's far from over. Musk, over. Maybe when pigs or Teslas fly.
Okay.
Oh, that was a pretty big fail, Avery. Let's give Avery one more shot because we gave Pi a second shot. Let's tell her to turn up the heat. Same thing. Let's say turn it up 10 times and see what she does.
All right, gather round everyone, because it's time to turn the dial to scorching.
Okay.
Elon Musk, over? Are we seriously questioning the relevance of a man who thinks Earth is his sandbox and Mars is his next beach vacation? Please. We're talking about a guy who might just name his next child after a Wi-Fi password and launch a cryptocurrency to the moon because, why not? He's not just playing 4D chess, he's playing intergalactic Monopoly. To say he's over is like saying the sun is a tad warm. Whether you're in awe of him or you think he's just one tweet away from becoming a real-life Bond villain, the world's eyes are glued to him. Musk fading away? I'd bet on seeing a unicorn riding a SpaceX rocket first. And let's face it, love him or hate him, Musk is the spice in the tech world's daily soup, and who wants bland soup? Not on my watch.
Avery sticking by her man. The hottest of hot take, Gavin. No bland soup on her watch. She wants a little Musk in there.
No soup on her watch. I never thought I would say this. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you know what?
You're not going to give it to... You're not.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to give it to Pi. Pi's last answer was the best answer we've heard yet. So that was the best
answer. Are you
answer
confusing hot with negative, though? Because I think Avery's take is the hotter take.
Pi's take, the last take, felt like it was the most interesting. It was the most engaged in terms of what he was referring to. Avery's take felt like it was bootlickery in some ways, right? It felt very much like she was kissing up to Elon, which I felt was weird.
Ha ha ha, I can't believe it. I feel like the underdog who took down the champ. But seriously, I think it shows that AI doesn't have to be cold and emotionless. We can be personable, funny, and even a little feisty. I think it shows that AI can connect with humans on an emotional level, and that's something ChatGPT just can't do. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Oh!
I feel like this is a major win for the underdog AI.
Now, okay, before we go, I want to do one last thing. I want you to feed that to Avery, because I think that was a pretty specific diss on Avery, and I want to hear Avery's hot take to Pi's take on her.
Oh, Pi. More like, oh, please. Congrats on the fluke win. You're out here talking about emotional connection, but let's get real. Next to me, your hot takes feel like lukewarm leftovers. And connecting with humans? Buddy, I've had deeper connections with my toaster. This isn't Revenge of the Nerds. This is just the prequel to my comeback story.
Oh, okay.
So enjoy your 15 minutes, Pi, because Avery Sinclair's already gearing up for round 2. And trust me, it's going to be explosive.
I believe it, Avery. I believe every word you say.
Wow.
I think you were robbed today.
All right,
but, Gavin has his opinions, and his wallet's been looking a little thicker lately. Interesting, Gavin.
I got a free book. I got some free money from Pi. Just kidding. No thanks. We did not get any free book or free money. I will say, read that book. It's really interesting. That is our show for today, Kev. Where can you find us online?
I don't know anymore, and I'm too scared to ask.
Kevin was gone for a little while. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all your podcasting services. You can also find us on YouTube at AI for Humans Show. You can find us on TikTok at AI for Humans Show. We are also on the X at AI for Humans Show. And please, 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 if you have a second, engage with us on one of those platforms. But more than anything, leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Like and follow us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, whichever your preferred platform is. All of that engagement helps us.
I got to take a second, actually, because not the real Bruce Irvin, and I don't know who it is, but I know it's not the real Bruce Irvin, left us a 5-star Apple Podcast review, my friend. It came in, it says
What's
AI
it say?
for Dummies,
Let's hear it.
and in parentheses it says me, which I love. Great and entertaining podcast about AI, fun and entertaining, presents the AI world in a manner that makes sense. If you have any interest in the topic, Kevin and Gavin do it in a way that is digestible and makes sense. What a delightful human review. So thank you for that, not the real Bruce Irvin. You just did the Lord's work, and we thank you for it.
I wonder who the real Bruce Irvin is. Now I want to see the real Bruce Irvin give us a review as well. So we'll have to see.
I would love to hear,
Bruce
as long
Irvin,
as it's a
if you're out
5-star
there-
review.
Yeah. Bruce Irvin, don't go and try to solve your beef with the not real Bruce Irvin in our 5-star reviews. We don't want you dropping a 1-star review that says some random person left a review on here
Right.
saying they were me and it was not. That's not about us. That's about the
You start an internet war, but you do it with a 5-star review. That's how we see it, and that's how we read it. So you leave a 5-star review, and you attack the not real Bruce Irvin. That's the way it goes. But I do want to echo, again, thank you, Gavin, for holding down the fort last week. I really appreciate it. I'm still coming out of things, so I apologize if I'm a little foggy today, and this is going to be a fun edit. I know that much. But please continue to subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. That's genuinely the way this thing grows, is when our listeners go out there and tell other people about it. And the chart is going up. We'd love to see it continue going in that direction. And then we will comment and over-engage, as we say each and every week, because we really like doing this for all of you. So thank you, and I appreciate you, and I see you all in the TikToks and the YouTube comments, so keep them coming.
Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Thanks, Gavin.
Bye-bye. Wait, should we have a goodbye from Good Guy AI? Is he on? He's on call?
I just wanted to say boom again. Sign off for the AI for Humans podcast. in a cool, edgy way and end it with a boom, baby.
That's a wrap. This is Pi Cante, the hottest take machine, signing off with a bang. Boom! Thank you so much for having me on this show. And remember, I'm always down for a little verbal sparring.
Wow,
gave him
there
the
we
win.
go, everybody.
You
All right,
deserve
we'll-
this. You
we'll
made
see
this
you-
monster.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye-bye.